Fly through the results. No, because you come from Foss.
No.
Today, he's the coach of the Colonel Gardens Football Club. First time on the show on 100.5 FM, Stephen Zweck.
Thanks, guys.
Great to have you here, mate. Now, you replaced the great Mark Corey from Flight Centre last year, and also obviously coach of Colonel Gardens. So give us the Stephen Zweck story and how you came from juniors to where you are now as coach of Colonel Gardens.
Yeah, well, a little bit travelled, I guess. Played at a few clubs along the way. Kenilworth was my junior club. I did some time at Scotch College, Old Scholars, Goodwood Saints, back to Kenilworth, then some time at Lockley's, and then back to Kenilworth, probably the last sort of 8 to 10 years of my playing career. And I was lucky enough to coach them for a couple of years when an opportunity came up, and that didn't go as well as we wanted. We had a fairly bleak sort of team, but it was enjoyable still to try and get a bit of bonding with the guys. And when we got relegated, they decided to choose another coach, and so I moved on and went over to Colonel Gardens and helped out Mark Corey for the last 2 years, and then was lucky enough to be appointed the coach this year.
So that would have been when Salisbury was playing and all those?
I got Justin Salisbury out to Kenilworth.
Yeah, good
footballer. Champion. And he could just control a game of football. Any game we played with Justin playing, we were capable of winning just because of his dominance in the middle. And we had another lad called Kane Murphy who played centre, and you could basically almost win a game just with those 2 or 3 good players, that high quality. But Justin was a great ruckman, and he's got, I think he was in the Broadview team of the century as well.
Yeah, he was.
Lovely lad as well.
And you would have had Osborne up forward too.
Yeah. I spent probably 8 to 10 years playing alongside Ozzy in the pocket.
The great Seamus Osborne, multi-time leading goal kicker for your club, but also association leading goal kicker several times.
And team of the century full forward as well.
I did see that team of the century out at Kenilworth recently, so good. And Mick Gilmore, of course you would have played a bit with Mick Gilmore, played his 250th on the weekend.
Most definitely. Mick, he first joined the Cookers, I think it would have been 92, when we were actually at Mortlake Park. We used to share the oval with Colonel Gardens.
Jamie Thomas time.
Who was it?
No, Jamie Mason, I mean.
Jamie Mason, he came after. I think it was Tony Fiore was coaching him at the time when Mick first came. He came with a huge rap then. He was only mid-20s, and he was a very solid player, very tough. And then, Jamie Mason, we were lucky enough to get as our coach, and he was a fantastic coach to play under. Mick, he is a true legend of Kenilworth, and he just keeps playing.
Is he a bigger legend than Johnny Schultz?
Well, I think he probably is, because he's done it on the ground, whereas John's work is basically off the ground, whereas Mick he's led from the front on the ground, and such a strong unit, and I'd say so,
Now, of course, one of the great new not inventions, I can't get this word every week, incentives, whatever it is. What Luke Hoosey has done is we've now got a thing called webcast, so you can look through the footy budget. I'm actually just looking at page 37 of the footy budget, and you can see the great Gary McIntosh there with a big play video on him. So the coaches and Stephen at the moment are being webcast live, or perhaps not live, it goes on later this week, so make sure you check that out. But we're going to talk now, Stephen, about last week's game. Going into last week's game, after the break, you were 3-5, taking on a team in the 5 in Trinity who were 4-4. It was one of those games, a must-win, like a 4-point game, when AFL they call it an 8-point game, and you did. Tell us about how the game panned out.
Yeah, it was. We spoke of it during the week as being the 4-point game. Trinity at Trinity is a very difficult gig, but we've been pretty happy with what we've got this year as far as game-wise, and we thought we could take a style of footy to that game that could defeat Trinity. They like to play the forward press a lot, so it was basically our counter-attack was to move the ball as quick as we could out of defence. With my guys, being so young, that's probably one of our strengths, is our run and carry. They kicked very straight, which probably kept them in the game to a degree. But you know, it was just such an important game for us. I would have taken a 1 point win. In the end, you know, getting home by 3 was reasonably comfortable. But you know, knocking Trinity off at Trinity to go with our defeat when we beat Blackfriars at Blackfriars, they're tough games and they're things that we can really build on as a group.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, clearly you've got to beat teams above you to move up the ladder, and you've done that with Trinity and Blackfriars. And then you look at the teams below you, say, for instance, Adelaide Uni, they're just one above you, but they've knocked off Mawson Lakes, and then Ingle Farm, who are bottom on 1 and 8, have got within a goal of both Woody South and Mawson Lakes. So I mean, that's where I was getting at. It really is an even competition. If you don't come switched on, you'll lose.
Did you notice too that the Magoos won as well, beat Kim Hillard's
Yes, they did.
boys?
Oh,
Big shocker, eh?
in a thriller as well, 3-point win.
Yeah, they got out to 4 goals up with about 5 or 6 minutes to go, put the cue in the rack and nearly got caught. But that's fantastic for the club with the B grade going that well. Our B grade did win a flag a couple of years ago, but it was fairly dominated with older fellas, whereas this time they're all built
Young
basically
boys.
on young guys.
Yeah,
And
would have been
once again,
a beautiful ride home, wasn't it?
that was a fantastic ride. We took the bus out there. We arranged bus trips for those sort of journeys, and I heard
Galvin was the team, and obviously worked as well.
Yeah. Now, we did it to Mawson Lakes, with Horton Districts, and we'll take one out to Century Night as well. The boys love getting on the bus and having a few drinks on the way back, and we found it's worked really well.
A few songs maybe, and
oh yeah, there was a couple of songs, but we won't go into those
No.
after that. But yeah, it was a great win.
it was a huge win. So the bus, a minibus.
I think it gets a 42-seater.
Wow.
Yeah, they often get 30, 35 jump on it, because a few spectators like to jump on as well.
Yep, certainly. And one thing that impressed me was your professionalism when I was down at your club for grassroots. And I mean, standing you in good stead, you had great numbers. This point that Dave makes all the time, your B grade is really strong at 8 and 1, is it?
Yep.
These winter months is when you get your niggles, and I've woken up with the sniffles. I don't want to play today, but I have to. You know, this is where your depth is going to allow you to climb the ladder and hopefully have an impact, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're hoping for. Like today, I'll actually bring in 4 B graders into the A grade, but they're all going to do as well as the guys perhaps who've missed out. And that's the strength of the club at the moment, is that we can have 4 or 5 even change from one week to the
And it
other.
won't upset the balance.
No, the guys that come in just seem to slot in really well. So, you know, we're really happy with the way things are going at the club. We wish we'd grabbed a couple more wins on the first 9. You know, 2 more and you're sitting at 6-3 and you really set yourself up. So, but you know, we've got a good run home, 6 home games out of 9 on the back 9. So we, you know, even with winning all 6 of those just from the home games, you still only come up with 10 wins, and that might not even get you in. So it's a really tight comp.
Did you say you got 6 of the last 9 games
Correct.
at home? Yeah, I can understand the draw this year. I mean, St Peter's, I knew Trevor Hill was speaking to me about, you know, they had a number of games at the start of the year. They played 1 in the first 6 at home. I can't understand how the draw isn't home away, home away, home away.
It's to do with other clubs organising triple headers. And for example, Trinity rang us and wanted to swap their game. We were meant to play them at our home last week, but we said no, we'll go out to Trinity and play you, because they wanted to run a triple header out there. But what it's meant is that we've played Horton at Horton, Mawson, Blacks, Trinity and Woodville South all at their home grounds. So probably the 5 toughest gigs in Div 6, we've had them all.
So it's worked in it could work
It could work in our favour, definitely. Yeah, the last 4 of the last 5 we've got at home. So yeah, we'll be looking to stay home.
Are you playing yourself?
No, too old.
Yeah.
46 tomorrow.
46 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, let's go into this week's games, Dave, because well, it's a huge round. It's round 10, of course, and it's when you teams butt heads again for the second time. The first one is Woody South and Lockleys. It's at Woody South Oval. So it's a battle of first versus third, arguably a game of the round. We won't call it game of the round today. When they first time they met, it was Woody South by 13 points. And if they're 3 big stars, and I'm talking about the likes of Stubberfield up forward, Adam Clifford, and help me out, what's his name? Rayner, the state player from Division 6 was forever. If they are up and firing in the wet conditions, you'd think they'd be too good for Lockleys. Footy budget says it's going to be 1 to 12, but I think Woody South by a few goals.
Yeah, wet weather, mate. I still think
Long stops.
1 to 12. Yeah, don't forget the long stops, boys. 1 to 12 is probably not bad.
Yep.
Woody South are doing all right, but don't bummer or have them just get enough to get over the line.
Yeah, they're just struggling along at 8 and 1.
They are. Don't forget, all those games have been close ones. There's never been big margins, so I think they're just doing enough just to get the points.
Yep. What do you think, Steve?
I think you're probably right. Although I like Lockleys. I like their mix of height, size, different types.
Like yourself, they're a young team too, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty young, and they got they got B's and C's that are going okay as well. So they've got that depth to cover. They got Big Sanford now. He's playing for them. I wouldn't be surprised if Lockleys knocked them off today. Woodville South, as you say, just seem to do enough to win. They've been in some precarious spots and they got out of jail, I guess, with their class. I mean, when we played them, we were 4 goals to 1 up at half time, and then they played the super third quarter and knocked us off against Ingle Farm. They were 5 goals down at 3/4 time and ran over them. So I think they've got a lot of class there. They're the best team in the comp. But I think if they get a little bit of rain today, Lockleys will really give them a scare.
Give them a nudge.
Yep.
Athelston, Adelaide Uni and Ingle Farm.
Yeah,
Close game.
Ingle Farm disappointing after the bye last week. I actually don't think this will be too close. The young, fast, tall Adelaide Uni. Perhaps the wet weather will help those bigger, older bodies of the ex-Parry Hills types. Your Wayne Knowles type player where you just are in and under. Perhaps, but I think Adelaide Uni need to have too much class in this one.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so as well. Uni are a real stopping defensive sort of unit. They rely on stopping your scoring, I guess, and kicking a few themselves. Ingle Farm have got a few injuries. It's been a bit disappointing for them because they really pushed themselves hard between probably rounds 3 to 8 and could have had a couple of wins there, but when you don't get them and your confidence is already a little bit dodgy, they might just drop off a little bit, which would be unfortunate because I think they've improved a lot this year.
Yeah, they certainly has as time's gone by. Now, the next one's the Battle of the Boss and the Toss. It's Blackfriars and Trinity at
Catholic
Blackfriars.
showdown.
Yeah.
The Catholic showdown. Of course, Blackfriars coming off a great win and Trinity coming off a loss to your mob. First time round, it was Blackfriars by 8 points in a bit of a thriller, despite the inaccurate kicking 11-18 to 12-4. I just think Blackfriars too strong for mine at home. Highly underestimated at the start of the year, but the Hillman boys and Fuck Vu, sorry, Matty Brincat and the likes, that's his name. Don't
Wouldn't have a list for that.
No, you wouldn't. Sean Murphy, Matty Ribbett. I think Blackfriars for mine by a few goals.
Yeah, definitely. Trinity, a little bit disappointing last week. Blacks a really good effort against Mawson Lakes and had a lot of scoring shots. They lost 3 in a row before that, so you'd imagine that coaches probably had a meeting raw meat leading up to that game, and they really came out and showed it. They're very, very tough team to beat at home. They love their little B park over there, and I think Trinity might go down.
Yeah, I think so too. Blacks will win, but only just.
Yep.
On 1 to 12. Central United, Mawson Lakes.
It's an interesting one to see. The footy budget's tipped Mawson Lakes by 1 to 12. I guess that's not that interesting. Central United at home, Mofflin Reserve in the wet conditions. That's when they'll play their best football. Dutchy will get them up and about. The likes of Kane Elmendorp, skillful. Robbie Abdullah, I see, is named. They've got Phil Hall up forward. Be interested to see who goes to him. But for me, even in the wet conditions, too many forwards to go to for Mawson Lakes, whether it's Bradley's, Ivan Novasol. They've got a couple others as well. Yeah, Big Ralphie. I was watching them sing the team song, just surprised at how big some of their boys are. They're very, very tall side, a lot taller than I thought they were. It seemed taller than last year's Div 17. I think Mawson Lakes would have to be too strong in this.
Yeah.
Just.
When we played them, I was a little bit surprised at some of their height. They got brought in, I think it was Mumford.
Yep.
Who's quite tall.
Brother of Scott.
Sydney Swan.
Is he? Okay.
He's Scott, and the other one is Shane.
But their good forwards aren't big though. Besides maybe Smiths.
Yep.
It'll be an interesting game. I think Central United are capable of knocking them off. I'm just a bit worried that Mawson might have just had their confidence dented a bit. Whether they can rebound, this will be the great test for them. If they can come out there and have a good solid win, 5 to 10 goals, you'd have to say they're back on track. I know Central United will be waiting for them for sure, and it'd almost be worth going to watch. I think it'll be a great game.
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting show on Monday night at WOW FM with Dutchy and the Riddler on it. So
Yes.
it'll be a great show.
An interesting one as well, David. I think you'll like this one. The great Moosey Emery, Damien Emery, has
He's got your number, mate.
Mate, he's fine. He is signed on officially. He's now the state under-18 Gaelic football manager. I asked him about Wendy. He said it's all done and dusted. Rumours are right about Dave Green and Wendy. Dave Green and Wendy.
Wendy who?
Wendy Rocky. You've been heading down to Mawson Lakes a little more than
What was your worry
necessary.
about that?
And
Still a bit of life in the 60-year-old.
and
I,
moving on to our game of
you
the
didn't
round.
hear that, Moose?
None of these.
And
Moosey's done.
Kenilworth Gardens and Houghton, there'll be, what it says in the budget, 25 to 36 to Kenilworth Gardens. I can't see Houghton getting within a bull's roar.
Houghton don't travel very well. Having said that, they do play home very well. First time round, did they knock you off by a couple of goals? They did. Should give your boys all the ammunition you need to get over today, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this we haven't won 2 games in a row, so that's going to be
You're about to.
the big thing today. You know, we went up to Horton in the first round. You know, new coach, new group. A couple of our key players couldn't play that day. We struggled a bit and went down by a couple of goals. Today, yeah, it's not so much about revenge. It's more about just winning 2 games in a row, winning a game that we should win, and then looking forward to the week after. But they're always big. Davis, Liam type is a super player. They got a few other big men that float around. Their ruckman's good, Schutz. And if it's wet like this, it'll feel just like home for them. So just one of those games where we'll be telling the boys they've got to basically approach it like they're playing at Woodville South or a Mawson Lakes and just do the business.
Yeah.
Right, so it's been brilliant having you on the show today, Stephen. Is there anyone you'd like to thank at all?
I think our main sponsor is the Telstra shop at Unley, and I'm pretty sure Sprint Auto as well. I'm not totally down with most of the sponsors, but I know they get a few mentions. Glenelg Hair and Beauty, I believe
Vanille
as
here.
well.
Well, that would explain a few things.
That's
They're
how you got
very
that
sharp
tinge of
looking.
grey.
Oh,
You got that tinge of grey, they put it in for you,
That's
obviously.
natural, mate. That's natural.
Oh,
A bit of the John Riley. All right, thanks very much for being on the show, mate. Wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you can have a win today and have a serious crack at the finals.
No worries. Thanks for
Thanks,
having me,
mate.
guys.
thanks, mate.
Thank you.